This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker don't miss, man.
He's good.
Nice night here. Nice little view. Nice haircut. I just wanted to share some thoughts with you. Let's turn that off. So, the big thing, right? You're trying to lose fat. You've tried a lot of things, and it seems just so difficult. You have to remember, people, and this is where observation is so powerful, because you can see that people have lost. You have seen people lose body fat in a number of different ways. You've seen people lose fat in keto, counting calories, Atkins, blah blah blah. You name the diet, you've seen it work. I don't know why I put quotations on that, but there's many ways and they all work. Now the thing is, so we know we can figure out, like, it's not those diets themselves that are special. There's a mechanism that they all follow in some different way that causes the fat loss to happen. And if you've been following me long enough, you know I talk about that all the time. And actually, any reasonable, honest, transparent person will share this as well. It's about calories. This is physics, right? If you eat too much and your daily requirement is you eat more than your daily requirement of food, you're going to store that excess food as reserves, aka body fat. This is not a bad thing. This is a beautiful, perfect system. Obviously, as a person, me as a person, I'm not going to like the effects of that, because I'm not going to like how I look. And at a certain point, it's going to start to impact your movement, your ability to move. It's going to impact how you interact with people because of, if you're self-conscious and all that kind of stuff. And if you continue down that path and have way too much body fat, right, way beyond what you need, then you're going to have health problems, and then things start to break health-wise, right? And things start to shut down. So it's physics. And the reason that people have such a hard time with permanently losing fat and then being able to keep it off is, A, they don't understand that, or they don't want to, they don't give it the weight, pun intended, that it deserves. But B, every way that they go about losing fat, it's very forced. It's lacking in enjoyment and peace. Okay, and all the ways that they try to do it are very rigid. And so, and when something is rigid, it can't adapt to different situations that you're going to come across in life. And so, this person who's eating, let's say, carnivore, and it worked, but then there's birthday parties and they don't know how to navigate that, and then they're just frustrated, and then they're using a lot of willpower to not eat all the stuff that maybe they would like, or vacations, and they don't know how to navigate in a vacation enjoyably while still losing fat or keeping fat off. You don't have the skill sets or the knowledge or the tools to adapt to every situation, because the fact of the matter is, not only can people lose weight in different diets, but they can, there's people who have lost weight in every different scenario and stayed lean in every different scenario. So we also know that it's possible. And so the real keys, the two things we have to put in, right, on top of our understanding of physics, I call it the physics of fat loss and the psychology of fat loss. But on the physics side, it's very simple. It's if you eat too much, you're going to gain fat. If you start to decrease that, you're going to start to lose fat. Then the psychology side is you need, if you want it to be permanent, you need it to be peaceful and enjoyable. Okay? And that requires certain skills. So if you have these skills, you can peacefully and enjoyably eat in any situation and continue to close the gap that, from where you are and where you want to be. And that's where like all the tools that I talk about, or the frameworks, or the principles that I use, that came from that. I didn't like sit down and decide like, oh, I'm going to make the food enjoyment matrix. The food enjoyment matrix, right? I have plenty of videos and stuff on that, but I was literally standing in the kitchen down there, and I was, looking at like, I was like thinking about how I look at food and make food choices, and I realized that I weigh food choices, pun intended again, based on two things. So I have my graph. On one side is the enjoyment of food, so low to high, and on the other side is the calorie density of food from low to high, right? And so I realized, I was like, that creates a quadrant, the food enjoyment matrix, right? And that's where the 4 quadrants are. So up here, high enjoyment, low calorie density. This is where you want to live. That's quadrant 1, right? Because if the food that you eat is highly enjoyable and it's low calorie density, you're going to want to eat it. This is what you want to eat. And it's low calorie, so you're going to lose weight. And that allows you to dabble in quadrant 2, which is high calorie density and high enjoyment. But since you spend so much time in quadrant 1, you can be in quadrant 2. So these ideas came from me observing how I went about these things, right? So, and then you have the Keystone foods, which is the Keystone food, again, it's high in protein and it's a quadrant 1 food, meaning it's high enjoyment, low calorie density. And then there's 2 more pieces to that puzzle. The fourth piece is that it's convenient, meaning it's fast and easy to cook and prepare and clean. So when you start to add things that have a lot of friction, a lot of steps, a lot of complicated recipes, a lot of ingredients, it's going to be hard for you to do that. So we want to decrease that friction. So that was why I included convenience, fast and easy to cook and clean and eat and whatnot. And then the 5th piece was of the Keystone food is that it's easy to track, right? Meaning it has less than 5 ingredients. If you're making some complicated 30 ingredient recipe, again, you've increased the friction of your ability to actually track this thing. So these ideas, these principles allow us to maintain a high level of peace and a high level of enjoyment with our food. When we do that, fat loss becomes effortless. Fat loss becomes a phase that, you lose the fat, and now you can be in a living phase, an engaging with life phase. Because the goal is not to be in a perpetual fat loss phase, in and out of it, right? The goal is, I want to enjoy life, and tying back to some of the principles that I, share and talk about all the time, my definition of health is, and I haven't heard anywhere else that's defined it in this way, is your health is your ability to engage with life on your terms, okay? And so now you can start to define that a little bit more usefully. And so, if you're 80 pounds overweight, you're physically in pain all the time, you don't like how you look, you don't feel attractive, you're avoiding intimate encounters, that's probably affect, like the domino effects of that are huge. And so you can't say you're healthy. You can't, if you're 80 pounds overweight and you have very low muscle mass or strength and endurance and stamina, you're not going to be able to enjoy going to Disneyland with your kids because you're going to be tired, right? And these are just simple examples. I've had clients give me examples of like, some of their wins of like, I could never sit comfortably in an airplane seat. And, so one of my clients, I think she lost over 100 pounds. And she texted me this picture of her sitting and was able to comfortably sit down and buckle her seat in an airplane seat. That's an ability. That is an example of your ability to engage with life. One of the things that I'm 36 now. I'm going to be 37 in December. I love to play basketball. I love to be physically active. I don't like to sit down and be inactive. When I have kids, I don't want to be like, all the little nieces and nephews and younger cousins, they all liked to spend time with me because I was active. I was physical with, like we were running around, we were playing games because I wasn't tired. And I want to be able to do that with my kids in the future. And so, these are the things that people don't think about. They're so overly concerned with like, what's the perfect this, the perfect that, and and I get it. It's confusing. It's difficult. There's so much information out there. But if you have come across this video and these things make sense to you and you start to implement them, your life, I want to help as many people as I can, but I can't. It's not my responsibility to save everybody and convince them that this is what they're missing. My desire is to help you. And and then as many people who come across this message, that then they will be able to improve their lives, find more peace, find more enjoyment, and then increase their ability to engage with life, right? Become healthy. Losing weight, looking good, feeling good, that's all a part of that. For me, part of being healthy is being able to play basketball. Like, I'm 36, I go play, I can still dunk. I'm super I go play with the high school kids, I play with, college guys, and it's fun. I want to be able to compete at that level. And, another part of it is how I look. It's very important to me to look really good. So, I want to be as ripped as possible. That's a huge part of my enjoyment. I find that I engage with life much better when I have a six-pack. I'm not saying everybody needs to have a six-pack, but I know what makes my life feel better. And so having these more, relaxed and calm conversations, a little bit slower conversations, are really the game changer, because they allow you to start, all the muddy water to start to settle, so then you can actually see the truth, not only of how to lose fat, but like what's important to you. So that's my message. As always, if this is useful, if it's helpful, please like, comment, subscribe, share, all the good stuff. If you want me to help you, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram, shoot me a message, whatever. And have a wonderful night.